you so much, Vikas, for joining us for the success story series. Before before we get started, as usual, I would like to know what has been your journey so far, your work experience, and what do you do?
Yeah, so I actually graduated in 2016 from IIT Madras in electrical engineering, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So after that, I joined Samsung Bangalore office and worked there for like 4 years from 2016 till I think 2020 July. So primarily, like it was research and development center, but my work was primarily in the development part. So I was mostly in engineering side for first 4 years. In there, I had experience or exposure to different domains actually. For the first 2 years, I was working on a Samsung Pay application. And then for the next 2 years, I was working in applications related to medical domain, actually, MRI and ultrasound. Right after that, I got a good opportunity at Walmart. So I shifted to Walmart and was working in their data platform project. So I am currently also working in that same project. Yeah, that's been my experience.
So how has your GMAT journey been? Because I remember, you were part of the classroom, which is pre-2020 for us.
Yeah.
How was your GMAT journey, and how did you actually balance, your GMAT with your work, and what are your major challenges that you faced?
Yeah, actually, I think around March 2019, I think, right? I think or 2020 yeah, around that time, January 2020, around that time, so I was looking for a GMAT kind of preparation, right? So I wanted to pursue an MBA. My focus was mainly to get into product management. So I was like, okay, I need to, like, this is the best time to get an MBA and make that switch. I thought like this is like the right age because I had like 5.5 years of experience like right now. At that point, like as I did my preliminary research, one thing I found was like quant and verbal, right? So I thought like quant is something that I can manage. I needed basically a center or a classroom where the verbal is more focused. So I did some preliminary research on Google. Like I didn't do much actually because I was staying in Bangalore then. And I was like, what are the good centers around me in Bangalore? Because I wanted that classroom experience. Otherwise, I thought like I wouldn't pay that much seriousness. I would skip classes and maybe do that. So that's why I did that. And I found out that like Crack Verbal was good for the verbal part, right? So then I approached this Martha Ali Center in Bangalore, and I I saw already students going over there like in first class and how it was, and I liked that experience actually. So my experience with GMAT started with right away with verbal classes.
Right.
So usually I attended all the verbal classes in classroom, right? And then I started this quant classes. So I was doing this weekend program. Like I was not coming on weekdays, mostly on weekends. So after verbal, I had to start my quant classes, and then the COVID thing happened. So I attended all the GMAT classes like for quant online via Zoom. Yeah. But it was actually good experience even via Zoom actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was there.
Actually, that was one thing that we had, right? Moving the entire classroom to online, it was almost like a switch for us. And we made sure that, all the students we did not have any delay in their preparation also during that time. So, so we did that. So, more from your, perspective of your preparation, right? So, you said quant was already something that obviously IIT background and all quant will not be so much of a problem, right? What part of verbal was your major pain point, and how did you actually tackle those pain points?
So I never had a very formal exposure to English, right? So even through school, even though it was an English medium like thing, it was never that kind of formal thing. So I wanted some place which would cover both fundamentals and like I didn't know what would be part of it actually, right? I just wanted that experience because if I started something randomly, right, I wouldn't know what I don't know, right? So that was my main thing. Like I wanted to go to a classroom and actually start from beginning, right? So some of it, like I think critical reasoning was not so much about like English as it is about like going into the finer details, right? But the other two parts, sentence correction, was one thing I realized like I definitely needed that kind of coaching kind of thing, right? Because like there are certain set of rules, and trying to use your intuition wouldn't be a good thing. So that's what, like I think that really helped, like especially this sentence correction and reading comprehension, like some of the strategies that were told and some of the strategies that I got from GMAT Club, they were really good. Like I just going through official material, I don't think I would have gotten that kind of exposure. Like they were good, but the thing is like I kind of needed some strategy, because otherwise solving those problems in a limited time, I think the strategy is definitely part of it, and I think I got that from Crackvocal. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. So before you took the final exam, this was the first attempt you got your score, right? A 7.7.
Yes. Actually, right after this quant classes, I had to give my test, but because of COVID, there was some uncertainty, right? So I actually went against like that idea of MBA, and I joined Walmart at the same time. So I was working here, and again next year, I thought like I should give it a try. So I then approached the Crackvocal again because I lost touch from what I did. But I had very good interaction, and they asked me to take one test from official material. I saw some questions and some were new, but I scored a good score, and I told them, and he was very good. Like I think it was Likesh. So he gave me a good idea that like, okay, now you don't need the classes again. Like you can try to refresh from the material you got from Crackvocal and both GMAT Club and official material. And that was a good guidance. So I focused this time more on official material and tests. So I did that from March to June. So around 3 months of prep again. And then I gave my test. So I exhausted all my practice tests because I didn't want to give another test and save anything for that. So I thought like I should put all my effort there. And that my first test, I was not expecting that much actually. That it was very good score that I got 770 there.
Yeah. Right. So more from the perspective of when did you feel you were ready for the test? So were you seeing a similar score on your mocks also?
Yes. The first mock I got 750, right? But then it started going down because the first mock, I think something clicked because like there was no expectation. But from the next time, I was expecting something, so it went down, and I actually gave a couple of available tests of like from online, like somebody else was providing, and it was not a good experience. Then I actually had to double down and like prepare again, like go through all the material again. But towards the end, like the last two tests, three tests, I was getting in the range of like the same score, like 760, 770.
Right, right. So when you took the online version or the offline version of the test?
I took the offline version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means you would have seen the score immediately, right? So what was the feeling when you saw 770 on the screen?
It was really like a very good experience because the thing is, even though I was scoring very good scores in mocks, one thing was like I was seeing some questions, right, which because I was solving these questions on GMAT Club and like as part of some other question banks, even on like Crackvocal, like there was this chance of like if I see one or two questions in verbal, like, and I kind of like do them immediately, like solve them immediately, and I can use that for next question. Like that boosts the score a lot, right? So I was like, okay, maybe not this much, but it would be something good score. Like that's what my expectation was. But seeing 770, it was like the next feeling, next level feeling. Yeah,
right.
Very happy.
Right. So once you got your score, and were you always very clear that you wanted to apply to US, or were you also looking at Indian schools? And what were your other options that you considered before you actually started your application?
To be honest, like I was primarily in engineering background, right? I didn't have much leadership experience and not so much of extracurriculars outside college, because I was primarily invested in my job and also like was trying something else on the side, like, but never tried into these things. So I was like, okay, my opportunity, like I would have a best bet maybe in Indian schools. So that was my reason, and that's why I wanted a good GMAT score actually, because I was not sure that the other part of my profile was very good. So I actually put this effort. And once I saw this score and I talked to again Likesh, I think Likesh has been a good guidance for me. Yeah. So he convinced me that like, okay, there is this good chance of getting here. But at the same time, I went to GMAT club and saw that like, okay, this is something doable, right? I didn't. It was not like I don't want to go to US or anything, but I thought my best chance would be in an Indian school. So that was my primary reason for thinking of Indian schools initially. But later I thought of US school and applied.
Right. So how did you finalize Crackverbal for your application consulting help also?
Yes. So the thing was like my initial experience was good, right? So like then I thought like I wanted to. There was some online consultation like in GMAT club. I think there were people from US and other things, but I wanted someone who I trusted already, right? Because I talked to these people. I actually went to this Mardali like a lot of times, right? So it felt very like uh, as in there's a good rapport between the people and me, like okay, it's not so like okay, like they're very busy people and they're trying to address or something like that, right? It was like okay, like you have a problem and they can solve it. So I talked to him first. I didn't actually go to multiple people. I tried to see some reviews or something, and I think they were also good, right? And but after talking to Likesh and like the confidence and everything, I actually like, okay, I'll go with Crackverbal again.
Right. So what was your, so when you actually start writing your application, right? One of the biggest challenge that everybody feels is, starting to write your first draft. Was it easy for you or was it difficult for you from your first draft to your final draft? What was your journey?
It was definitely difficult for me, right? I told you like my background has been in quant and the engineering side. Like I never actually put any effort into writing, right? So that was my problem. So Crackverbal, I think there was some initial evaluation on like what my profile would be good for, right? I think I did that with you, right? Yeah. So after that, like I was like, okay, since I wanted to go into product management, I chose the colleges around that thing, like not opting for something fancy. I wanted to be realistic and actually go into something where I would fit in and enjoy, kind of, right? After choosing that, I think I got a good mentor, like very good mentor. He was like, okay, this is what people from background like us who come from Indian colleges face a problem like this. So it's okay to actually write very crappy drafts, right? So he actually sat with me for like the initial 3 to 4 calls. It was nothing about colleges. It was about like what are your short-term goals and what are your long-term goals, right? The reason was not that like I needed like there was not much time, but he was like, once you finalize these things, the rest of these things you can fit them around these short-term and long-term career goals. So in those things also he actually helped me how to actually format them using this star format, right? So I actually like, okay, that was a rule that I followed. Okay, anything in my life I actually have to put it in this format. I use that even for interview also, right? So that was one good thing, and he actually helped me. Like I think the initial short term and long term goals, I had to go through like 3 to 4 drafts to actually finalize. Initially I was being very dreamy kind of goals, but the reality was like, okay, the MBA school is looking at your short term and long term goals because they want to be realistic about you, right? Given your profile, where do you fit and where is your best chance of getting a job, right? So he was like very realistic about that, and he told me and finalized these short term and long term goals first. After that, it became a little easier, right? Everything actually had to be woven around those two stories, right? So that was better actually.
Right. So after you applied to these schools, right, Tepper, Ross, how long did it take for you to get an interview call? What was the timeline?
I actually got it like at the very end, right? I got it like I think 3 days before the admit decision, right? I was not hoping for that actually. Like by the time, because the first round of interviews were already, I think, done. So towards the end, I got it. That's for Tepper. And Ross, I got a reject, as I told you.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So how did your Tepper interview go? Who interviewed you? How was the experience over there?
Okay, it was John Ivy from admission committee, so ADCOM. Like the questions I think were pretty standard. Right? Like I didn't, there were no fancy follow-ups or anything. So I actually had gone through this GMAT club, and I saw that like, okay, this is what this ADCOM is doing. This is what so I prepared for a little more things, but I knew what was coming actually. Right? They were pretty standard, as in like questions were like, what does your typical work week look like? And the other behavioral questions like, tell me about a time you did this, or you helped a poorly performing colleague. So these were all pretty standard questions, and it lasted for about like 20 minutes in a 30-minute interview, right? So that was it, and there was no more. I think the follow-ups were less. He was pretty to the point. Like if you answered something quick or something, like there was no follow-up on that. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Okay. And how long did it take for you to get the final mail that you got in admit?
Yeah, so immediately 3 days after that interview, right? I actually, that was the decision deadline. Yeah. So I was not expecting it. Like it was, the interview went for 20 minutes out of that 30 minutes, right? Like I was like, okay, it should have at least lasted for 30 minutes.
Right.
Right. Okay. But on the day, like I got it around 6 p.m. I was like jumping with joy. Like, and in addition, actually, I got a scholarship of 30,000, right?
Wow.
So yeah, for 2 years.
Yeah. You can actually ask for more. If you can ask for more, you can write to them.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can take that offline, and we can discuss on that aspect.
Yeah,
but amazing, 30K is great. And congratulations, Vikas. I'm so happy for you. In fact, from the first time we spoke, also I was, you have this confidence, right? That okay, he would definitely get through one of the top schools. So I'm really happy for you, and more importantly, you got into the school of your choice. Which is amazing. So that's really great. So if you have to give some words of advice to people who are preparing and planning their MBA journey, what would be your thoughts and focus, advice for them?
Yeah, I think planning for MBA journey, I think I'm not so mature to do that at this stage. But for GMAT, it's right. Take your time for that. Like it looks easy, right? The questions look easy. It's not like given enough time, you may be able to solve it. But the thing is, like you should be able to do it in that time, right? Either quant or this. So the effort is like you have to develop a strategy for that, right? So for that, you need to know the rules. Like it's not like you have to know the entire grammar or anything, but you have to know the rules, because GMAT covers a pretty small set of rules. If you like, it's not very broad, like complete vast universe of English kind of thing. There are exceptions, but I think the first thing is like know these rules, right? And then practice this materials, and also practice this official material, right? And also take these tests, right? So that was it. Like, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vikas, for your time. Really appreciate it. Let us know if you need any help for your next steps, visa or finance, putting you through people. At least we can put you through the right people, wherever you need help. So let us know. We'd definitely love to help you out. And thank you so much. All the best and congratulations. Maybe after you're done with your MBA, I'll call you again and we can talk again after what you're doing next. I would love to know about that also. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, from my side, right? I think Crackable, I think the people have been really honest, right? That was my what do we say, the charm point. That was what made me actually go there and actually talk to them multiple times. Right. That like everybody I talked to was very responsive, right? Actually, I was the guy who was not so responsive, I think, compared to what I needed. But from their end, from the initial set of classes and from giving the guidance before the test and for application, it has been like really good experience, That I'm not bloating it up or anything, because I actually had my journey for 2 years, I think now. Right. So I can say this. It was a very good thing, and so thanks for that.
Right. I'm so glad, and thank you so much for letting us be part of your journey. We really appreciate that aspect also. And I will definitely let my entire team know, whoever was part of your journey, that that you said these great things about them. So thank you so much, and all the best. And so have a nice weekend and nice happy holidays too.
Yeah, happy holidays to you too. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye bye. Take care.